It's a bear. Good evening. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live Duval Street, Key West, Florida, outside Sloppy Joe live cam up right now. Lots of tourists down there enjoying themselves. A lot of them from cruise ships. And most of you know that that's a big cruise ship destination if you live in South Florida. And if you don't live in South Florida, it is a big cruise ship destination because the drive from Miami down to Key West is about 4 hours. And most tourists don't come down here to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and drive down to the Key West. Most of the tourists you do see down there are tourists like we're seeing right now. Not the locals, but they're having a great time. Think about this, 72 degrees, 73 degrees probably out there. They're dressed in their summer or spring clothes from where they live in Massachusetts, Minnesota, wherever it is in the United States, Canada, that's much colder right now than it is here in South Florida. One of the beautiful things about living down here is our weather for sure, and our really cool little communities like Key West, Florida. All right, let's get into spot prices here, which, I'm really surprised that we're still hanging on. I'm going to do a quick refresh here and see where we're at. There we go. Hang on one second. Silver is below that $24 mark, but I expected, and again, it's not over yet. Tomorrow's the last markets before we close over the new year. But I was expecting sub $1,800 golds and sub $24 silver, obviously. But even lower than sub 24, I was expecting maybe the low 23s, below 23. But we're not seeing it. And platinum below $1,000, we're still not seeing. So it looks like we're going to close out not lower than we did at the beginning of the next year, but about kind of on par, which is not too bad if you consider the fact that at the beginning of last year, we're sitting about where we were. And when you consider a lot of other assets out there, including the dollar, including the cryptos out there, including the stock market, bond market, all those markets, including real estate, gold, silver, and platinum have kind of held their own for the last year. What does that really mean when we're talking about a price discovery in crooked markets? Not much at all, because that's exactly what we got there. We've got the crooked markets of the Crimex CME group controlling physical prices and controlling what the price structure is, $1,800, $23 silver, or 24 and change, whatever it is, and over $1,000 platinum, but no less opportunities to buy these metals at dirt cheap prices. Premiums are really low as well. If you've been watching my last 3 or 4 videos, we've talked about how low premiums are. I'm not going to get into premiums tonight, what the best deals are, because they're kind of the same as they have been for the last week. Not much has changed, but great opportunities out there to buy gold, silver, and platinum at these artificially low prices, and the premiums at prices that I've not seen in 2 or 3 years. Will that change when the new year kind of comes about? I kind of think so. When we're starting to see gold, silver, and platinum prices rise up, which I think we will in 2023. I think we're going to see much higher levels. You'll probably see the premiums start to disappear as demand picks up as well. But right now, retail demand out there, especially on the smaller levels, is kind of quiet. But I suspect that has a lot to do with, again, holiday seasons. It's always quiet this time of year. A lot of people are waiting to see what is happening in the economy. Silver's up, what, $4 or $5? No, probably $5 or $6 an ounce from its lows right now, if you think about it. So a lot of people out there that are seasoned silver buyers are thinking the same thing that I am and everyone else is are they going to monkey hammer these prices lower anytime in the near future? Again, near future is tomorrow as far as the end of the year. I'd be happy if we stay above 23 and above 1,800 and above $1,000 in platinum. I would say that if we see that, I kind of am starting to believe that the manipulation and the collusive behavior in the COMEX, BMA markets and other markets out there is coming kind of to an end, and a lot has to do with physical supply and demand issues. Let's get into that right now, which is kind of real interesting. We've been talking about this for years and years, not years and years like I've been doing this for decades, but on my videos, I've been talking about this for the last 2.5 years plus, about the weaponization of the US dollar and what implications that has had on other countries holding U.S. dollars, and that included China, that included Russia, that included Iran, that included Venezuela, all these countries out there. I mean, the one thing, even during the deepest, darkest parts of the Cold War, is that the people worldwide loved was the dollar. I mean, the dollar was it. And it was still a fiat currency then. I mean, in the 70s, in the Cold War during the 70s and 80s, I mean, it was still, they still loved the dollar. But all of a sudden, we started to weaponize it more and more. China, I mean, Russia has figured that out already. Russia's basically had all their dollar assets confiscated by the United States because of the war that they're having currently. And China is looking at that and saying, hey, listen, we're looking at Taiwan down the road. So Russia, before Ukraine, was preparing to be de-dollarized, preparing for these sanctions, preparing for all this stuff. I mean, anyone that's followed the news like I have and you have, we all know that Russia's been preparing for the de-dollarization for quite some time prior to this war, and they were ready for it, and they also probably knew that certain assets were going to be confiscated. But what did they do? They added to their gold supply. Gold supply, gold supply, gold supply. What has China been doing for quite some time? Adding to their gold supply. Really great article about Zoltan's year-end masterpiece, Dust for the Petrodollar, Dawn for the Petro-Yuan, and the coming commodity rehypothecation, all right? And that's exactly what we got going on right now. Commodities will be king out there because you can't eat a fiat dollar bill or a fiat euro or a fiat whatever it is. You can't eat that. You can't eat, you can't trade, well, you can trade it for something, it's still worth something, but commodities are going to be the real king, and countries that link their currencies to commodities will be the real winners in the upcoming, what they call the Bretton Woods III. And that's what Zoltan here, what a great name too, Zoltan. The Bretton Woods III, which is basically an alternative to the dollar-denominated world that we've lived in for all our lives, my life, I'm sure, and most of your lives out there as well, unless you're old enough to remember World War I. And then that's a different story. But what, again, all these currencies and all these countries, their net wealth, their country's wealth is going to be based primarily on commodities. Now, some countries like the United States, and I still genuinely believe this, our net wealth will be dependent on technology and service industry things. Hopefully, we'll also get back into manufacturing and be able to do that at a profitable level as well. But meanwhile, all these countries like Russia, China, they all have great resources when it comes to commodities. The United States does too as well. I mean, we have our oil supplies. We have our oil in this country. We have our offshore oil in the Gulf and all these other places, Alaska. However, we're not backing the dollar with that. And the truth of the matter is that the dollar is not owned by the United States. Like China owns their dollar, basically, not the Central Bank of China, but China, the People's Republic of China, the Communist government China owns the bank, owns the dollar. We don't. The United States government does not own the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a group of private bankers, and wow, there's a rabbit hole I just jumped down to for no good reason. But so where was I going with that? That China owns its own stuff. Well, China's made the decision, as has Russia, as had a lot of other countries, to back their currencies with gold. And we're seeing that more and more. Take a look at this article here. Central bank gold buying is the highest since financial system broke 55 years ago. And this is by the Financial Times, the bullshit corporate mouthpiece of London, more or less, the FT. And when they start saying stuff like this, when they start acknowledging central banks are buying gold, there's something to be said about that, folks. Good articles here, by the way, in gat.org. Highly recommend that. Free website, by the way. Highly recommend that you bookmark that. I do. There's my gotta bookmark right there. And again, take a look at this. The role of gold may be changing. Central banks panic buy precious metals in 2022, and we've got all these countries out there, except for the United States, because supposedly we still hold the largest amount of gold out there. That's questionable. A lot of people have to question whether we've leased off our gold and whether we actually still have it, what's in Fort Knox or not. But our government's been so dishonest with us, I don't expect them to be any more honest with that kind of data as well. I suspect that as far as gold reserves, I don't know what to think as far as the United States go, but all these other countries have been building up their gold supply. Central banks all over the world have been panic buying precious metals in 2022, and they've been doing it for years and years and years. Again, as well as China, as well as Russia, as well as all these other, again, they've been buying gold and not silver, but gold. But that gets to another point, silver. Gold is not just money, but silver is money as well. We'll get into that in a moment. But all these countries are buying gold. And remember, gold has always been money for 5,000 years, used as money, minted in coin as money, up until recently, not maybe even 100 years ago, before all the world was getting off a gold standard. The central bankers and bankers all over the world have conned the people of every country to getting into fiat bullshit, paperizing the world with nothing more than paper, actually. Gold has been money for 5,000 years. So has silver. A lot of people don't really think about this. People think of silver in the manufacturing and the investment level, but you remember soldiers and Roman soldiers and merchants and people back in Roman times, back in BC, you know what I'm saying? 100, 200, 500 BC, we're using silver as money as well, not just gold. So both gold and silver are money. Great places to put your money security-wise, and we've seen that over the last course of the year. We haven't seen a big rise in the gold and silver prices and platinum prices. Again, that's primarily because of manipulation in the collusive CME group, COMEX markets, which has kept these prices low for some time. Again, all that's done is provide a great opportunity to buy these metals cheap. But you know what? You can't go wrong buying this stuff. It has been historically and still is right now a great way to preserve your wealth. Well, let me move into last night's video because this one's going to be pretty quick. I got to think of a different topic tomorrow night. So as far as Friday's video, which I might get done Saturday morning, but I'll call it Friday's video. Let's answer some questions from yesterday's video, which was dirt cheap silver and gold. Man, sometimes these topics are just so repetitive, but that's what the world is like sometimes, very repetitive. Celtic Knot, what's the heck is up there? BTFD, can't argue with that as enough, or can't argue that at all. Buy the friggin' dip. ShowPro one says firsty, absolutely Duval Crawl. Duval Crawl, for most of you folks, Duval County is Key West in that area. And I guess most of you know what crawls are that have gone out and had a good time there. And anyone with the name Hooch, I'm sure, has had a good time. Temporary says, Cheese Brown went to Debbie Downer. I ain't talking about the value of dollar, price of silver. What would Mr. Butler think of your attitude? I don't know. I think Mr. Butler would like my attitude. Cheese Brian or Cheese Brian? What did Debbie Downer? I ain't talking about value of dollar, price of silver. It's all bullshit. Oh yeah, it is all bullshit. That's for sure. Rob F, how do you get to the top three? That were you top four tonight? Didn't get the top one there, sir. Michael Matthew says, I think Elon Musk can drive up silver prices buying mining companies. Curious about your thoughts on this. It's interesting to see that Elon Musk has actually been commenting on the Wall Street Silver Twitter site. I haven't seen him comment, or I'm not sure if he's lurking on Wall Street Silver Reddit at all. But I do know that he is kind of a subscriber to Wall Street Silver on Twitter. Again, which is a big difference between being subscribed on the Reddit site itself. But I think he's a smart dude. He's got a kind of, I don't think mining companies, but I think he's got the money to go out there and buy silver, physical silver, and demand delivery because of the manufacturing process that he does. And he could definitely squeeze the price of silver as well. Nate W says a baby boomer generation ended after 1964. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate that. We were talking about, I was talking about the baby boomer generation and the the increasing amount of people retiring and getting out of the job market. So if you're wondering what that is, watch last night's video. Thanks, Nate W. Appreciate you bringing that up. Paul says they put a cap on Russian oil, Russia, India, etc., moving closer to gold, standing with the Shiite happening. What is your opinion on what happened to the gold and silver prices? Well, man, we just did a whole video about that, actually, Paul. I have to agree with you 100%. Russia, India, the BRICS countries out there, their currencies are going to be backed by commodities to some degree. At least most of them will, and that'll provide a stronger currency, a stronger trading platform for them, and also less trade in the dollar, which is really bad for the dollar, which is probably bad for this country as well, which is probably good for the price of gold and silver. I hope that made sense. Thanks for watching, Paul. Appreciate it. Happy New Year's. By the way, Happy New Year's to everyone here as well. Welco Services says, funny, that's where Dirt Cheap came from. Let's see, read more. Be well yourself, Welco Services. Tree Climber says, just a different kind of fish cam. That is true. People are just a different kind of fish cam. Picked up two $5 U.S. gold commemoratives at $447 each, $672 over melt each. Wow, that's a great deal. Fair price. That is definitely good value there. At $6.72 over melt, you kind of really good value there. You picked them up probably close to what the wholesale buy price is itself, or close to it at least. I imagine wholesale buy price is spot plus $5 or around spot, but good deal there, dude. Hope to see you in January. I do too, Walter. I hope to see myself in January as well, and I hope to see you too. Thanks for commenting, and I'll be up at the fun show for sure. Coming up next week, actually. Philip says, what is your favorite classic coin design? So let me think about this. My favorite classic coin design. I'd have to say Seated Liberty dollars. I do like Seated Liberty dollars. I happen to like flowing hair dollars. Here's a coin that I love to collect a lot of, but are super expensive. Turban bust $10 gold pieces. What a cool coin that is as well. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to blast your eardrums with that. Just dropped my coin, actually. So there's a couple classic coin designs that I like out there. But seated coins, and I'd have to say bust draped and bust type dollars as well. Thanks for asking that, Philip Stanton. I appreciate that. Large Farber says, keep on stacking when the crooks will be brought down. True, 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 especially when the mines dry up in a decade. One of the things I've read recently is that the demand by industry and investment exceeded mining and secondary supplies for 2022, which means that the amount of silver taken off of the market in 2022, real silver, not the paperized bullshit in COMEX markets and such, but real silver taken off the market in 2022 exceeded the amount of scrap silver that was melted and turned back into bars and manufactured silver, and also new mining silver. So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, Large Faber, thank you for your comment. I like your style too, Pressetito. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for that nice compliment. You as well, Jim Eisenberg, appreciate that. Appreciate that you like the content as well. Silverliner, what's up? One of my old-time, I don't want to call you old-time, but one of my old-time viewers here and commenters. Appreciate it and hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Paul Wilson says if EVs are become a thing with cheap prices, the manufacturer will buy whether it's 25 or 2. Absolutely true. Absolutely true, Paul, because they have to have silver. They have to have it, even if they have to pay more for it. However, I think the fact that manufacturers will be asking for more silver is going to put a big strain on the paperized bullshit COMEX markets and the LBMA gold markets as well. Not so much with silver, but with the gold prices as well. I mean, it's all about supply and demand. Alley Cat says, yep, I'm one of those fish cam guys, but I like the city views too. As far as price goes, I always remember that if they start to show the real value of these metals, everyone will be ditching their stocks. Yeah, and we're going to see real values. I really believe that in 2023, but of course I said that in 2022. Never underestimate these crooks right there and their endless amount of paper bullshit that they can fool everybody with. Anyways, that's it, folks. I'm going to call it quits for tonight. Think for yourself, question authority, and of course you know why I say this. This is my quote that I've been using for the last year. And I got to come up with a new quote for the new year. Any of you got any ideas what my new quote for the new year should be? Put it in the comment section. I can't promise you I'll take it, but man, I'm open for considerations for a quote of the year. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the Collectorama show in Lakeland, Florida, February 16th to the 18th. Going to be a lot of cool stuff there. I'll be there along with a lot of cool coins, a lot of cool collectibles, gold, silver, and platinum products as well. And get your free ticket here. Again, February 16th to the 18th. Meanwhile, if you're buying and selling gold, silver, and platinum, you live anywhere in South Florida, you can come visit us at our brick and mortar store, Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays, and we will beat all the local prices, including the online guys, APMEX, SD, JM, and all the other guys out there. Not all of them, but most all the big guys out there, the 800-pound gorillas. We can beat their prices. As well as the locals. If you don't live in South Florida and you're buying more than 100 ounces of gold, more than 1,500 ounces of silver, you can call us at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals as well. We're able to do larger deals over the phone and through secured payment methods and secured shipping methods as well. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.